Hey guys, this is Monkey Taste, Monkey Feel, and Monkey Smell, an investigation of food recognition. We were out to determine what sense is most important in identifying foods when sight and sound are excluded. We conducted a descriptive study and tested the senses of taste, touch, and smell. We set out to prove two hypotheses. First, if you eliminate sight and sound, then taste will be the dominant sense in identifying foods compared to the two remaining senses. Additionally, there will be a significant disparity between the accuracy of the adult's senses in comparison to the students.
Here's some background info. First, for touch, your receptor cells for touch are your skin, like fingertips or other parts of your skin. And you touch something, the signals go through your skin into your thalamus processes it, and you can identify what it is. For taste, when you taste something, the receptors are in your taste buds. When you're at the receptors are in your taste buds, you identify it through the thalamus because it goes up to your thalamus and gets processed, and you can identify what it is. However, the olfactory system, which is smell, is the only one that does not go through the thalamus. Instead, it just gets there's like 10,000 odors that you can smell, and you just can't identify it. You can't just say you can identify it though, dude.
What?
You can't just say you identify it though. Just like, I'll just say this only one doesn't go through the thalamus. I want to make this.
Say it's the only one that doesn't go through the skin. Just like
talk like that.
Alright.
Okay. Hey, here's some background info. First, for touch, the receptor cells for touch is in your skin. Signals go up from your arm into your thalamus and get processed. You got to know what it is. The next one is the gustatory system, and that's the system for taste. And with taste buds are your receptors, and it goes through the thalamus, and then you can process it and you identify what it is. The last system is the olfactory system, and that's the system for smell, and it's also the only system that doesn't go through the thalamus.
Right.
Here's some prior research. Array, he researched taste. He went around and counted people's taste buds at different ages. What he discovered was that at different ages, like when you're younger, your taste buds are consistent until about middle age. And then after middle age, as you get older, your taste buds start to, you start to have less taste buds, and your taste buds start to go away. Other research was by Mr. Silverstein, and he studied touch. He discovered that touch is the strongest at the fingertips, and wherever you touch with your fingertips, that's where the skin picks it up the best, and it goes through your signals and through your thalamus and process. Now that we give some background info, let's run through some method. Let's run through our method. First, we gathered 20 participants. 14 of the participants were students, 6 of the participants were adults. The students range between the ages of 10 to 17, and the adults were 18 and up. Most of them go to South Brunswick. Most of them live in South Brunswick. The students, most all the students attend South Brunswick High School. Fortunately for our experiment, because our community is very diverse, we had a diverse population of other students from different ethnicities. For our materials, we gathered fruits. Our 3 main fruits that we used were apples, bananas, and strawberries. We also used blindfolds to blindfold the participants to help us conduct our experiment. Finally, another material we used, before we started our experiment, we gave the participants a questionnaire that they would fill out first, asking them about their gender, asking about their age, if they have any medical symptoms, and if they Alright, now that we did the method, let's go through the procedure. Our procedure is, first after we gathered the people, we isolated them in different rooms. After we told them to isolate in different rooms, we asked them if they could put on a blindfold. When they put on the blindfold, we went over to the side and we gathered plates and forks. We placed a fork in front of them, and we started cutting up fruits, and told them to stick out their arm. We put the fork in their arm and placed the fruit on the fork. After we placed the fruit on the fork, we either asked them to touch it, smell it, or taste it. We had a piece of paper on the side which we recorded their responses. And the paper was divided up in 2 columns. One of the columns was the correct answer, one was their response. After we wrote down the responses, we asked them to take it off, and then we let them leave. It was a fun time for all of us.
Alright, now for our results. First is touch. For touch, we had 87.5% of the males guess correctly. 90.9% of the females correctly, 92.3% for students, and 85.7% for the adults. Next, we go to smell. For smell, we had 62.5% correct for males, 76.9% correct for females, 76.9% for students, and 57.10% for adults. Alright, and last but not least, taste. For taste, we had 100% correct for males. Nice job, guys. 75% correct for females, 85.7% for students, and 83.3% for the adults. Let's interpret our results. For our research showed that women had a greater sense of touch and smell, but men were surely stronger in taste. Our first hypothesis was disproved as taste didn't become the dominant factor in identifying foods, but touch arose as the underdog champion. And our second hypothesis was confirmed since students were much greater than adults in identifying their foods, showing that adults truly do have debilitating senses. Now for the hard part, what went wrong? Basically, the only flaw in our experiment was that we were working with Tony and he pretty much ruined everything.
Right. Get out of here.
Alright, fine.
Okay. Now that he's gone, let's go through our real flaws and what really went wrong. Actually, one of our biggest flaws was that in the beginning of our experiment, we didn't isolate the participants. So the participants were all in a group of 5 all together giving the results. What happened was that when one participant guessed wrong, another participant guessed right, that narrowed the possibilities of what fruit to choose when guessing the other fruits in the experiment. And thus, it made it easier and made more confounding variables for our experiment. So what we decided to do from there is that we decided to take the participants and isolate them to make less confounding variables and make it easier. Another one of our flaws is that our fruit variety was really poor. We decided to use bananas, apples, and strawberries. This food selection is very common, and thus people encounter these foods in everyday life, and they have very significant traits of these foods that make them easy to pick up. Thus, the variety and the difficulty of the research was pretty easy, and that's what resulted in the high percentage of correct guesses on what the fruits were. If we picked other fruits that were less common, maybe then our results would have varied and we came up with more accurate results to support our first hypothesis.
See ya!
Oh, thanks for coming!
Thank you!
Yeah!
I want to name Miss Janice, please!